a host agency actually do? If you've been wondering that, you're wondering maybe, do I need one? What do they do? And also, why is it so darn confusing to find a perfect match that's going to work for you and be in your best interest? If that sounds like information you need to know, keep on watching. That's what we're doing on today's show. All right, guys, don't forget to take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell here on YouTube. Every week, we bring you amazing content to help you grow your travel businesses, and I don't want you to miss a thing. If you're new here, do a little introduction below in comments. I'd love to welcome you to our community. And if you are new, my name is Cyndi Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Wanderlust Campus. We are the leading educational provider in the travel industry. We certify travel agents and help you with everything that you need to know to grow your businesses. You can find all of our information at travelschool.com. But today we are talking about, what is a host agency? What do they actually do? Do you need one? And if you are going to pick one, how do you even possibly pick? Lots to go through today, and I have a lot written down on my notes to share with you guys. But I wanted to start by saying, if you are an aspiring agent, if you are newer in the industry and you are thinking about getting in, you're kind of in that evaluation phase, you start with our masterclass. This is a free class that we do. This is one of our advocacy projects to help educate you on exactly how the travel industry works, everything that you need to know so you can make good decisions. Do not pick anyone before you take that full masterclass. It will help you feel empowered. It will give you the real scoop on what goes on behind the scenes, and it will help you pick and match yourself with the one that is going to be the best for you. But right now we're going to talk about, what is a host agency? What do they actually do? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the history to understand the evolution of our industry. So when I started way back in the early 90s, you would work for a mom and pop agency, or you would work for a call center, you would work for a travel company, and it would be an employer-employee relationship. You would work for an hourly wage, and then you would earn commission on top of your hourly wage. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds. There were health benefits, there were different 401ks, tuition reimbursement. That came in really handy for my college tuition. But all of that to say is, after 9/11, the travel agency world and the travel industry got shook up a lot with how business models worked. So the way that it works in the world today is, when you work for a host agency, you are not an employee. And this is an important thing to understand. There's not going to be an hourly wage. There's not going to be benefits like 401k, health benefits, things like that. You are essentially a contractor. Not essentially, you are a contractor working under a host relationship. So it's very much like you have your own business, but you're working under the umbrella of a host. And the reason I want you guys to understand this very clearly is, when you are in a contractor position, your host cannot treat you like an employee. It's not their fault. It's just the arrangement of how that model works in our industry today. So they can't do things like give you health insurance. They can't even give you formal training. They can't require you to work a schedule. They can't even tell you what tech you're supposed to use for your job. So there's different things in how you will have to get your travel business up and running that you will need to understand. Now, part of this can be very empowering because you don't have to work a certain schedule. You don't have to follow someone else's rules. You can pick and stack your tech solutions based on how you want to run your business. So that is kind of empowering from some perspective. So there's pros and cons, but I just want to clarify so you guys understand the typical model in our industry is really, when we say you're a host agency, there's not a lot to be expected in terms of a paycheck, an hourly paycheck, benefits, things like that. So just make sure that you understand you are working as a contractor. This will be a commission-only position. Now, the good thing is, while you're not making hourly, you will make a larger lion's share of the commission. So when I was selling back in the 90s, I think I made 10% of the 10% commission potentially that I was selling. So my commission checks were much smaller, but I knew I had a steady paycheck coming. You have to flip it. In today's environment, you're going to get more of that commission. So what you get out there and sell is what you are going to earn. So again, that can be empowering for some. It can be scary for others. But just know, no hourly pay, no benefits, contractor position. So what does your host agency do then? Why would I go with a host if I'm essentially going to be working on my own? I have to I have to certify myself. I have to train myself. I have to get my own tools and resources. Why would I go with a host agency? Really, the number one reason is they are already set up and they already have already have relationships with travel suppliers. So here's how commission works in the industry. If you sell a vacation, what happens is, let's say you sell Disney. You're going to sell a Disney vacation. Disney has to know where to send that commission check. Because you are not a credentialed travel agency, they can't send the commission check directly to you. They're going to send it to whoever has the correct credentials. They're going to collect the commission and then they are going to pay you your portion. So the travel agency, or the host agency as we're speaking about today, they already have their credentials set up and they have already taken the time to register with hundreds, if not thousands, of suppliers, and they are ready to sell. So now, could you set up directly? You actually could. There's a way to do that. We train that in our Careers on Vacation course for our independent path. But a lot of people also like the ability to be able to jump in and sell quicker. So when you are with a host agency, one of the things that you can do is, once everything is turned on, you have your logins, you're not having to wait potentially 2, 3, 5, 6 months. It can take a long time to get all that administrative process done, to register as your own agency, set up with all the suppliers, do all the business things that you need to do to make sure that you're legally protected as a business. There's a lot of logistics that have to happen to set up as either an independent agent or an independent travel agency. So a lot of people will start under a hosting model, and then when they're ready, they can graduate away from that, and then they eventually can come back and set up their own business, get their own travel commission checks, and then earn 100% of their commission, which a lot of host agencies don't always share or promote because they would love for you to be hosting under them happily for years and years. Now, here's the other thing though. When you are brand new, sometimes you're not ready to jump in and be independent just yet. So from that perspective, sometimes having a host as your umbrella company kind of as you get started can be potentially a good thing. Another thing that host agencies will have set up that are not a lot of fun to set up are SOT licenses, seller of travel licenses. Those are required in 4 different states in the US. So you have to make sure you're in compliance with that if you either reside in those states or if you're going to sell to residents of those states. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that as well. And also check with your host, because not all of them hold all of the seller of travel licenses. They may not have Hawaii, they may not have California, they may not have Florida, they may not have one of the ones that's important to you. Make sure you ask that question. They also will provide you with some tools and some resources that are agency or host specific. Usually they have some type of package that they'll include for anyone hosting under them. But the reality is, think of them as your operational back office. They are going to be collecting the commission from the trips that you sell. They are going to give you and they're going to do the accounting, process the payroll, and give you your portion of that. And at its simplest form, that is what a host agency does. Now, some hosts will do some more things above and beyond that. Some just do that. And I will tell you guys, the most confusing thing when you are a new agent is it is not comparing apples to apples. Every host does things differently. This is where it gets really confusing. So buckle in. I'm going to give you some tips on understanding the nuances of how different hosts kind of operate and things to watch out for. First thing is, please avoid the MLMs. And newsflash, they're not going to tell you they're an MLM. They're going to say, we have a travel arm. That's our sister company. There's going to be a million slick marketing messages to a lot of times filter the fact that really once you get in, they're going to be starting to ask you to recruit your friends. You'll make more money if you recruit your friends. If you want to be a recruiter, go work for a company and make 70, 80 grand a year and be a recruiter. If you want to be a awesome travel provider, travel professional, don't work for an MLM. I promise you, we have thousands of students that have been through Wanderlust Campus, and we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that have come from MLM outfits, and they're like, oh my gosh, I never learned any of this stuff. Why didn't I know this before? And we get them into a better situation to help them be more successful. And again, it's, the reality is, as long as they are collecting the commission, paying your commission, they can technically call themselves a host agency. So it's not that they are not a host. It's just that they have these MLM models out there that I really don't recommend. I have other videos about that on the channel, so check those out if you'd like as well. The next thing is read your contracts. Don't fall for the slick marketing. Don't fall for the giant picture of everyone wearing the company t-shirt in front of the Disneyland castle. There are the ones that do the best marketing sometimes have the worst contracts. So beware. I want to make sure that you are protected. Have your attorney look at those contracts. Make sure everything looks like it's on the up and up. And let me just say, I'm not loyal to any host. I am loyal to our Wanderlust campus students, meaning when clients come into Wanderlust campus or they take our Careers on Vacation program, we match them with vetted hosts, and we are not loyal to any of those hosts. We are loyal to the client. We look at the client and say, what's your business model? What do you want to sell? How do you personally work? And then we help match them with hosts that we know are exceptional in the industry. So you want to do the same for yourself. If you're going it alone, make sure you read those contracts. Make sure there's nothing funny in there. You want to look for things like you lose your commission if you leave. You want to look for things like you can't, there's a non-compete for 18 months after you leave. You want to just make sure it is kind of month to month. You can leave when you want, and there's no funny or tricky verbiage in your contract. So make sure you're careful about that. Sometimes they start out great, hosts will, and then slowly they start making decisions that are now in their best interest for their ease and no longer in your best interest. You have to remember when you are working in a relationship where you are a contractor for someone else, you have no say on how they run their company or how they change policies or if they take tech away or things like that happen. Don't be afraid to leave a host if you don't feel like the value is there anymore or you don't feel like you're getting the support that you need to grow your business. So keep in mind, there are different hosts out there. There's hundreds and hundreds of hosts actually that, there's small hosts, there's medium-sized hosts, and then there's super-sized hosts. They all have a little bit different to offer. So you really want to do some research, especially if you're going it alone and you don't have that matching process that we do with our students. So don't be afraid to switch if you're not happy though. And if you are one of our students, by the way, I want to remind all of my Careers on Vacation students, within the partner portal, you can check all of our vetted hosts are there. You can see reviews from other students. And if we have any discounts or free hosting that's available, you can find that inside the partner portal if you are a Wanderlust campus student. So check that on your logins as well. And then next thing I want to talk about is a lot of people think having a host is going to be the solution to all of their problems. And this is really a myth in the industry. Remember, a host is responsible for properly and collecting that commission and paying your commission baseline. That's ideally, of course, the minimum that they want to do, and some do above and beyond. But they're not really allowed to show you or direct you on how to set your business up. So a lot of people will sign up for a host and sometimes the host even say, yes, we have training and we have these other things. But then you're kind of left to your own devices to figure out how to put your company together as a contractor, and then also how to educate yourself on your niches and also how to do your new job. Because remember, they can't give you or require formal training. So it becomes this really tough situation that you're trying to figure out, how do I put this puzzle together? So tools and tech and how they stack are one of the most complicated things that I see new agents trying to navigate through. And every day there's more tech solutions popping up and available. And what do I do? What's the best thing for my workflows? What are the best things on how to set up my business? And there's a lot of choices. So sometimes your host will have recommendations, and of course those are great to check out. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you are protecting your business, both from how you set it up to how you protect it to all that stuff. So keep in mind, you are going to have to do your homework on that tech, how you want to run your business. As long as you're tech savvy, you might do just fine. If not, you may be looking for recommendations on that. And then every host is different with what they offer. It's really hard to understand the full scope of the industry if you've never been in it before. So I know it's so hard to make your host choice before you know what you're doing. This is like this weird paradigm that you're in. It's kind of like a puzzle from the beginning. So hopefully we can give you guys some direction on what to think about. What I really recommend is think about how you like to work, what's going to be important to you, and do a research. Please take that other masterclass. That will really help you understand how the industry works. And you need to ask a lot of self-reflection questions about what's important to you in your day-to-day, what support you know you need, and be ready to fill the gaps that they are not going to do for you. Things like getting help with your business setup, earning a certification if you want one, getting guidance on how to sell properly. All those different things are things you will be responsible for, whether you self-educate yourself or you look for solutions to fill those gaps to make sure your business is going to be one of the ones that's really a showstopper in the industry. I also want to direct my Careers on Vacation students to our Wander Paths. If you are selecting one of our vetted hosts, this is your tech stack guidebook. So if you're in the Careers on Vacation program, you can download for the different vetted hosts that we have the step-by-step instructions on how to set up your business, what tech is recommended, what to do, what's optional, what's required, and it's all built out for you. That's one of the things that's great. I've worked with so many hosts in the past. We have that insider knowledge on how to set up the tech stack solutions for each host. If you're doing that on your own, you're going to just have to ask your host a lot of questions, see what's recommended out there, and then do a lot of research on what you think is going to be best for your business. All right, next is when they say they have training, it usually means they are going to connect you with supplier webinars. When I say supplier, it means travel suppliers like Sandals, Disney, Globus, Trafalgar, whatever. All these different providers that have travel solutions that you can now sell. They all have a million webinars that are free. You can actually go to our partner portal and get to a lot of those for free without even going through a host. Our partner portal is complimentary, so you can click a link down below and you guys can get that for free. But when they say they have training, you want to ask a lot of questions, because a lot of times what will happen is they'll say, yes, all of our supplier trainings are complimentary. Sometimes they even invite suppliers in, which can be great. But a lot of times what these hosts are starting to do is once you're in, they'll say, oh, we also have this other company or this other program you can buy, and it'll run anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 to go through their program, their training program, their new agent training program, and things like that. That's happening more and more and more in this industry. I want to encourage you probably not to do that. And here's the reason why. If a host builds a training program, it's going to be directed towards their goals and what they're trying to focus on as a host. I would rather you spend that money. I don't care which one you go through. You can go through Wanderlust Campus or one of your choosing, but go through a company that you're going to earn an industry recognized certification. So if you change a host or you go somewhere else later, you still have all of the information. So again, in full transparency, we are one of the top businesses in the industry that certifies new travel agents. There are others out there too, but either way, I feel like if you're going to a host training, they want you to sell their suppliers. They want you to learn it a certain way. When you go to a company that is more kind of objective, that we actually give you the training on what the real scoop is on the industry, and what doesn't matter which host you're with. We're teaching you the best practices industry-wide. What you need to know to really thrive in your business has nothing to do with the goals of host agencies. So just know that there may be a sales pitch coming from the host agencies down the road as well. That's pretty common in today's environment. Next thing. Oh, you also can ask them when you're vetting your host, one of the things I recommend is that you schedule an interview. If they won't get on the phone and talk to you and they just want you to sign up online, I'm not a big fan of that. You need to have a connection, because what if you have a problem with a client or something that you need to ask them about? You want to make sure they have a good help desk and they're really responsive to working with you directly. Now, another thing you can ask them is, are they an educational partner with Wanderlust Campus? Because there are a handful of really top-notch hosts that work with us, and they will invite us in for us to do training for their communities. Like once a year, we do a big sales summit, and we do other trainings. We do marketing training, some different things. So if you want a little bit of that Wanderlust Campus love that you've learned to kind of love here on YouTube, and you're not doing one of our programs, there are a handful of hosts, but ask them if they are an educational partner with Wanderlust Campus. And they also will have a badge that looks like this on their website, so you can look for that as well. All right. The other thing, when you're going through your host screening process, I want to remind everybody in Careers on Vacation that within your Wanderlust Campus account, there is a host screening guide you can download. It's in the launch kit section within Wanderlust Campus. All right. So for everybody following along today, I'm so proud of you. You made it through the whole video. I know this is a lot of information, and this is the most important decision you're going to make, because if you start with the wrong one, it's so much harder to fix it later. And if you start with the right one, it can just be a much easier process to get into profit and profitability with your business. So what are some things that you can do? One, take that free masterclass that I told you guys about. Again, it's going to help you understand the different ways to get started in the industry, whether you are working with us or going directly to a host. Doesn't matter. It's going to walk you through the reality of what those look like for the different possibilities. And then you can ask yourself, which one seems like it resonates most with me? Secondly, consider Careers on Vacation if you haven't already. We would be honored to help you. We will actually match you with a vetted host. Our vetted hosts are hosts that we know are doing business in a proper way. They're not making you sign funny contracts. And also, we're going to take the time to get to know you and make suggestions for 2 or 3 of our vetted hosts for you to interview, so you then can interview them, see which one resonates best with you, and you know you're going to be in a great host home when you get started. Plus, you're going to earn your industry certification. You're going to learn how to do your job at the highest level. You're going to get all that setup support that a host doesn't always give you, and you're going to get that wander path, so you're going to get all of those technical solutions spelled out for you. And then also, little secret, we are going to tell you how to go independent when you are ready. So what that means is, even though we may match you with a host, one of the things in full transparency we do at Wanderlust Campus is we give everyone the independent agent wander path, meaning when you are ready to leave your host, they don't give you the instructions for that. But when you start with Wanderlust Campus, we are thinking 5 years ahead and 10 years ahead. So we give you all of those tools. So when you are ready to graduate out of hosting and you want to earn 100% of your commission instead of sharing that commission with a host home, you can do that when you're ready, and you'll get all those instructions as well. So guys, no matter what path you take, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. I'll see you back here next week. Have a great week, guys. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all the content available to you on our channel. And I invite you to follow along, travel with me around the world as I grow and scale my travel businesses. You're going to pick up some great tips, some great tricks on how you can grow your own travel brand too. I'm going to drop some links down below, and also check out these videos I handpicked just for you.